What's happening everyone, my name is Alex and welcome back. For this camera comparison we have the Samsung Galaxy S22 and the OPPO Find X5 Pro. Out of the two, the OPPO is the more expensive one. So as always throughout this comparison you're going to be able to see a variety of daytime and nighttime sample pictures and videos. Of course we have portrait mode pictures, we have zoom pictures, we have pictures taken the ultra wide cameras and much more. Just before we start, make sure to press that like button and let's begin by checking out some portrait mode pictures that I took with both devices. Alright, so after checking out the portrait mode pictures that I took and looking at the edge detection around the subject, so the edge detection around LoRa basically, I can't really say that one does better than the other one. The edge detection around the subject is fairly equal, I'm gonna say. Now for colors, it really depends how you prefer your pictures. The pictures from the OPPO do seem a bit brighter and those colors are also a bit more saturated. So if you like brighter pictures, you may actually prefer the pictures from the X5 Pro. But personally, I feel that I like the pictures from the S22 a bit more. They seem to be a bit more realistic, I'm gonna say. But once again, leave a comment down below and let me know your thoughts. Do you prefer the ones from the X5 Pro or the ones from the Samsung Galaxy S22? Next we are moving on to some zoom pictures, and here I've done 10 times zoom. Both devices have a telephoto lens on the back, however the Samsung Galaxy S22 has a 3 times zoom telephoto lens, where the OPPO X5 Pro has a 2 times zoom telephoto lens. So if you do 10 times zoom as I've done for those pictures, it seems that the Samsung Galaxy S22 does better. The pictures are a bit sharper, so therefore a bit better, I'm gonna say. So for 10 times zoom pictures, once again, I feel that the Samsung Galaxy S22 did a bit better. Next, we're gonna move on and check out some pictures that I took with the ultra-wide cameras on the back of the two devices and of course during the day. Now, the main difference that you're gonna notice here is the fact that the colors from the X5 Pro are way more saturated than the colors that you're gonna get from the Samsung Galaxy S22. And the pictures from the OPPO actually remind me from the pictures that I used to take with Samsung devices about 2 years ago. So the same kind of saturated colors. Now, if you do prefer those more saturated colors and those pictures that look more social media ready, I'm gonna say, you're probably gonna prefer the pictures from the X5 Pro. Once again, I think I prefer the colors from the Samsung Galaxy S22. And aside from those colors, it seems that the dynamic range in those pictures taken by the X5 Pro is also a bit better. But what pictures do you guys like? The ones from the S22 or the ones from the X5 Pro? And of course, we're gonna move on and check out some pictures that I took with the main cameras. During the day, all the pictures were taken on auto mode on both devices and maybe a second apart from each other. So the same kind of applies as we've seen for the ultra-wide cameras. The X5 Pro has the more saturated colors, somewhat better dynamic range in those pictures. But once again, I personally prefer the pictures from the Samsung Galaxy S22. They don't look as crazy saturated as the ones from the X5 Pro. Now, if you do prefer those more saturated colors, once again, there is nothing wrong with that. And it comes down to what you actually like. So I'll let you guys watch a few more pictures and definitely leave a comment down below and let me know your thoughts. Which pictures do you prefer? The ones from the X5 Pro or the ones from the S22? Next, we're gonna move on and check out some nighttime pictures that I took with the S22 and of course with the OPPO Find X5 Pro. Now, for the main camera and for the ultra-wide camera, both devices support a night mode. So of course, all the pictures that you are seeing were taken with that night mode. So we are starting with the pictures that I took with the main cameras and the night mode. Here it seems that the Samsung Galaxy S22 has the brighter picture. So almost every single picture that I took with the S22 seems to be a bit brighter. Now, for picture sharpness, I feel that the S22 does a bit better as well. For the other camera comparison that I've done between the X5 Pro and the iPhone 13, the X5 Pro did have the sharper pictures, but when comparing it to the S22, it seems that the S22 does a bit better for those nighttime pictures and of course that main camera. So I feel that for the main camera, the Samsung Galaxy S22 does a bit better than the OPPO Find X5 Pro. But what do you guys think? Do you prefer the ones from the X5? I feel the X5 does have the more accurate looking colors for these pictures. Moving on to the ultra-wide cameras and that night mode, well, kind of the same applies as we've seen for the main camera and the night modes. So most pictures that I took with the Samsung Galaxy S22 seems to be a bit brighter and also a bit sharper. So once again, I do prefer the Samsung Galaxy S22 for those nighttime pictures that I took with the night mode and of course that ultra-wide camera. But what do you guys think? So which device does better for the main camera and for the ultra-wide camera for those nighttime pictures? Definitely leave a comment and let us know your thoughts. Next, we're gonna move on and check out some sample video recordings that I've done with both devices, of course, during the day and at night. Now, out of the two devices, the Samsung Galaxy S22 could record in 8K. I'm not gonna show you any 8K recordings, but both devices can also do 4K at 30 and 4K at 60. And I have some of those recordings for you to see. Here, once again, I feel that I prefer the Samsung Galaxy S22 mostly because the colors look closer to reality. Other than that, the video quality is pretty similar in between the two. So I'll let you guys watch those sample recordings and I will be right back. Alright, we have a quick recording between the two devices. For this particular recording, I'm using the main cameras on the back and recording in 4K at 30 frames per second. Of course, both devices can also do 4K at 60 frames per second, and the S22 can actually do 8K. But personally, I'm not gonna be recording in 8K anytime soon. So I feel that 4K at 30 frames per second is our best resolution. So I'm gonna stop here, we're gonna pan left slowly. And then back right, and I'm also gonna walk a bit faster, so we'll go towards the road there, just so you can see how the image stabilization works at this the resolution, and of course with that main camera. So yeah, 4K at 30 frames per second with the main cameras on the back of the two devices. Alright, we are moving on to a quick recording done with the main cameras on the back of the two devices, but this time around we are recording in 4K at 60 frames per second. As you can see for yourself, we have a super sunny day. We actually have some people swimming, even though the water is kind of cold today, but hey. We're gonna walk this way for a bit, just so you can see how that image stabilization works at this resolution. I am trying to hold the phones as steady as possible as well. So we're gonna stop here, we'll pan right. And up a bit. And then back left. So yeah, this is how recording would look like if you're using the main cameras and recording in 4K at 60 frames per second. And we are moving on to our last recording during the day. For this recording, I'm using the ultra-wide cameras on the back of the two devices, and I've switched the resolution to 4K at 30 frames per second. As you can see, I am walking, and once again, we have a super sunny day. It is a bit windy, but I don't think you're actually gonna hear that wind through the recording. So yeah, ultra-wide cameras, 4K at 30 frames per second with the OPPO and the S22. Alright, we have a quick video recording in low light between the OPPO and of course the S22. For this recording, I'm using the main cameras on the back of the two devices and recording in 4K at 30 frames per second. It is super quiet around here, so the only thing you should hear is my voice. It gets a bit brighter around here. So we'll walk this way. Looking at the screens, they kind of look similar. Again, we'll have to see how this footage actually looks on the computer. So yeah, this is how recording would look like in low light. Moving on to our second video test in low light. For this recording, I'm using the ultra-wide cameras on the back of the two devices and recording once again in 4K at 30 frames per second. So I'm gonna pan left. It is fairly dark up there, so can't really see much. We're gonna keep going this way.
We have a bunch of street lights as well, so not complete darkness. And let's point the cameras to the left here. It isn't as bright around here. So fairly similar from what I'm seeing on the screens here. So yeah, ultra-wide cameras, 4K at 30 frames per second with the S22 and of course the OPPO Find X5 Pro.
So what do you guys think about those video recordings? So me personally, I feel that the S22 does better during the day, but the X5 Pro does better at night. The nighttime recordings from the X5 Pro are a bit sharper, a bit brighter, I'm gonna say, and overall a bit better than the ones that I took with the S22. But once again, leave a comment down below and let me know your thoughts. Moving on to some selfies, and of course we are starting with some daytime selfies. Well, for daytime selfies, I do prefer the Samsung Galaxy S22. It does better for dynamic range, it does better for colors. But for nighttime selfies, even though neither device does great, I feel that maybe the X5 Pro does better, even though those pictures aren't as bright, but at least they are a bit sharper. So there you have it, the Samsung Galaxy S22 and the OPPO Find X5 Pro. Which one do you guys prefer? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.